In this video, we're reviewing my rod arsenal. And make sure you stick around to the very end of this video so that you can figure out how you can go home one rod richer. Okay, first things first. I am not sponsored by anybody. Rod, reel, lure, nobody is sponsoring this video. Nobody's doing anything. And they're just stuff that I've bought with my own money. I like them, I believe in them, I think they're good. And if they're not, I'll say that. I'll say otherwise. So I'm gonna start off with my big stuff, offshore gear, big gear, tarpon gear, grouper gear, and work my way down to the smaller stuff. So first things first is my Big Daddy. This is an 8000 Daiwa Tate. This thing is an absolute stud muffin. It has insane drag, like 50 or 60 pounds of drag. And I've got it paired up on the St. Croix Mojo Inshore. This is a 7'9" rod, and it does exactly what I need it to do for what I like to do. I usually throw big soft plastics with it, 8-inch mag swims, big 11-inch soft plastics with usually anywhere from like 1 ounce up to like 2 ounce lead jig heads. It works really, really good for catching tarpon, grouper, big snook. You've seen me use it a lot. So if I had to complain about one thing on the rod, it's that it has such a huge butt. So when I go to cast, sometimes it gets hung up under my stomach here. But other than that, I really, really like this setup. Can't say enough good things about the reel. It's my favorite reel ever used. It's dirty. Moving on to Shimano. We got the Saragossa. It's a classic workhorse reel. Everybody knows about the Saragossa. This is the 6000, and I have 45-pound braid on here. The last reel I had 65-pound braid fins on there. It's 40G. It's a braid that is pretty smooth, and I've had pretty good success with it. I like it. This is my kind of like a little bit smaller, still throw a lot of jig heads with soft plastics on it, but it's kind of more versatile. This rod works really, really good for you land-based fishermen. This is like the classic, everybody literally has this exact setup. When this came out, when I worked at the tackle store, everybody's like, "Where's the Avid? Where's the Avid 7.6 heavy? I gotta have him, bro." Has an insanely fast taper. I'll even take it offshore sometimes when we go red snapper fishing, mangrove snapper, gag grouper, red grouper. All right, we're starting to get a little bit lighter. This is a Shimano Spheros 6000 again, same line, 45-pound 40G, made by Fins braid. But this is, and you're gonna notice that I have a bunch of these green rods here, the St. Croix Avid Inshore. This is an 8-foot medium heavy. What I use it for is throwing smaller jigs. I throw like 5-inch paddle tails with a little 3/4 ounce to, anywhere from a 1/2 ounce up to 1 ounce jig head. This one I use a lot for snapper. Really, really good for throwing lighter stuff a little bit further. And because it's 8-foot medium heavy, it's softer, so it does throw that stuff a little better. And it's been a great rod for me. Okay, now we're gonna start moving into the smaller stuff, and here's where it gets a little saucy. I'm gonna start you guys off with the Daiwa Tate 5000. Now, if you haven't seen my other video where I go over the Tate, the 8000 that I have, go ahead and check that out. But these reels, they're a little pricey. They are absolutely insane. Smoothest reel I've ever felt in my life. Smoother than a Stella, smoother than the Saltiga. They're just ridiculous. On this reel, I have 30-pound Power Pro Super Slick V2. It's been really good. I like that. The braid has been really good on this. And I have it paired up on a Shimano Terramar. This is the Northeast edition, and it's a 7-foot heavy. This one, again, kind of like the 8-foot rod I have. A little bit lighter. I throw little jigs with it. You see here I've got this 3/4 ounce jig head on a 5-inch paddlers. I throw this thing for a little snapper around the bridges. Really, really good for live bait and offshore for like hogfish and stuff. It also throws smaller jigs really, really well for like big snook. And it's so light. This reel is ridiculously light, and the rod is ridiculously light. Honestly, probably my top 2 favorite combo right here, and I just literally can't say enough good things about it. I could pretty much talk anybody into buying one of these at the tackle store because it just, once you have it in your hands, you're like, holy rats, I gotta have that. Alright, so that's that. Let's move on to some traditional real inshore gear. Alright, I'm gonna start you out with this bad boy right here. This is old Greenie. It's the St. Croix Avid Inshore. This is a 6'6", medium heavy. The reason I bought it was for dock fishing, throwing jigs up underneath docks. I got roasted a few times on some bigger snook, and I was like, that's it. I got to get something that's just a little stiffer, a little more meaty, that I can pull stuff out underneath the docks. And it actually ended up being a really, really great topwater setup. I have the Daiwa Ballistic. This is a 5000. 5000 does sound kind of big, but these reels are made of carbon fiber, and it weighs less than like a 4000 Stradic. Check out how big the spool is on this reel. One thing I will say, the line that I have on here, the 25-pound 40G, I don't really like. I think it's really more like a 30 or maybe even a little bigger than a normal 30. It's not really a 25, I don't know. I just wanted to give it a shot because I like the other sizes that they have. It's a little bit too big for this reel. I think I'm probably gonna downsize and put some 20-pound on here, and then it's really gonna cast like really far. So that's a cool setup. Now we're gonna get into the classic Inshore setups. You've got the medium light, 7 foot. This is another green boy. It's the Avid Inshore. This is a 7 foot medium light. I use this for super, finesse type stuff. I throw my Ned rigs on this a lot. I have this weedless. This is a snake locks jig here with a paddler. Great for sight fishing, redfish. Catching trout, snook, all your flat style fishing. We've got a 3000 Stratic on it. Probably the best reel you can get for $200. This is 15-pound 40G on there. Really, really good all-around setup. If I was to change one thing about this setup, it would be the line. I'm going to throw some 10 on here, or 8-pound on here. I think I'm probably going to put some 8-pound on here going into the season this year, and just to get a little bit further cast on some of the really light baits that I throw. Now the next reel is literally the one everybody has. This is the 7 foot medium. It's a classic. If you're going to buy one Inshore reel and rod, this is it. It's the 7 foot medium, 3000, 15-pound line. It's a little bit more crispy than the medium light, so it's going to handle your bigger fish a little better, a little bit more backbone, a little more strength right here, a little bit less softness in the tip. And this thing just works. It just flat out does everything you need it to do. If you're going to literally spend your money and buy one decent combo, it's probably this guy right here. This is the one that everybody has. I mean, it's just something you have to have. It's not too big, it's not too little, it can do it all. Now, moving on to a little bit more particular matters, a little more selective, if you will, is my Baitcaster stuff. I've got 2 Baitcasters. I've got this one right here. This is the Shimano Corrado. DC stands for digital chip. There's little digital chips in there doing what they do. Instead of the traditional brake system, you've got a digital control. So when you cast, it makes that noise, and that's pretty cool. I'll be honest with you, it sounds cooler than it acts. This reel, I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't know if I got a lemon or whatnot, but it does backlash a little bit, and I don't get any backlash on my other Baitcaster, and this one does for some reason. So I kind of usually just throw a little bit heavier stuff. Not a bad reel by any means, but I think there's better options for the money. I've got it on a St. Croix Avid X. This is a 7 foot medium. Yep, 7 foot medium, and it's a freshwater rod, so the rating's a little bit different. A normal saltwater rod is 8 to 17 for the medium. Freshwater, 10 to 17, and it is a little crispier. It works actually really good for chatterbaits, so I throw a lot of chatterbaits on this rod. Now, lastly, is this bad boy right here. This is a Quantum Smoke Baitcaster kind of combo. I just bought them separately. It's a Quantum Smoke rod, Quantum Smoke Baitcaster, and this is 50-pound. Works really, really well. I throw swim baits like this on it. It could throw top waters. I don't do a whole lot of bass fishing, but when I first started getting into bass fishing, I got this combo, and you can't really use spinning gear in bass fishing that much around here. We have a lot of vegetation in Florida, and you gotta have heavy line, and so you need heavy line, you need a Baitcaster. So that's pretty much my entire arsenal. So I guess it's time to tell you how you can get a free rod. What I want you guys to do is leave a comment in this video on video ideas. I want to make videos that you guys want to watch. Whoever gets the most likes on their video idea is going to get this rod for free. I'll even ship it out to you if you're not local. So I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you have any video ideas, please make sure you do leave those below. And as always, thanks for stopping. I'll see you then.